There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name.
Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name, and this video is about my path from the streets to the military to an accountant to CEO. All right, so how did I get started? So in case you don't know, I am an accountant and I own my own company, so I'm a business owner. Not self-employed, but business owner, all right? So, and when I say not self-employed, I don't work for anybody else, but as a business owner, I don't necessarily work either, right? As a self-employed, to me implies that you have created a job for yourself. Like maybe you had your own accounting practice and you work at the firm as an accountant. Me, I am looking for talented people for me to find them work. And so I benefit from that. You know, basically hiring people, finding them something that they can do well or a job, and they work kind of under my company. So anyway, all right, so I started out in Tallahassee, Florida, running around in the streets, you know, doing the average street kid stuff, you know, hustling, you know, yeah, I was into all kind of stuff when I was younger, and I needed a way out of that because everywhere I looked, that was in my immediate view, it was all street stuff, you know, pimps, drug dealers, you know, all of that. So it was right there, you know, and it was even in the house with me, you know, and so that's kind of what I knew. Even though my sister went off to college and stuff like that, she wasn't there in the area where we were, and she wasn't having to experience, and she's 9 years older than me. So, but she didn't have to experience the environment that I was in. So I was kind of a product of my environment. And I knew I needed a change. And my sister went into the military. My uncle and his family was in the military. And they appeared to be like the healthiest families or the healthiest people positively, financially, things like that, that I was encountering. And so I was like, okay, I made my mind up. I was going to join the military. I joined the Air Force. I did about 14 years of service with the Air Force before I was like, yo, I got to go back to college. I need to elevate. And went back to college. And while I was in college, I got a position. I didn't even know anything about accounting, by the way, because my sister, her being 9 years older than me, was still like top of her class. And we were both gifted children. But her being 9 years older than me, she was able to introduce things to me on the business side that was way earlier than what I would have received it had she not been my sister, right? She was teaching me the law of diminishing marginal utility, which is a law of saturation. I was learning that at 11 and 12, okay? So I had learned all of these business terms and things, but I wasn't ever going to college. You know, went into the military. And so while I had learned all of these terms, and I was always starting little side businesses, selling clothes, doing all kinds of things. I had a car wash at one point. Like I had all kinds of things that I would do while I was still in the military. Just all my life, I always been hustling, just doing all kinds of little things. And I was applying these business principles that I learned from my sister throughout, you know, my life or whatever. And I got to be really, really good at math. And so I tutored math even in high school for other students and never planned on going to college, right? And so here I was knowing all of these business terms and accounting principles and not even knowing what an accountant was, right? And so when I decided I wanted to go back to school, I just signed up for a general business admin degree. I just wanted to get a bachelor's degree in something. It didn't matter. As a matter of fact, I was still working on my associate's degree. And so while I was in my economics class, I was taking a macroeconomics class. And so while I was in that macro class, my teacher, took a special liking to me because I was understanding the terms that he was using and was using advanced terms to explain how I understood it. But I was putting it into my own context where I was using examples of things that we might do in the streets as far as supply and demand to explain supply and demand. And he was like, hey, the first class, he was like, yo, I need to talk to you after class. And I'm like, okay, cool, can't be in trouble, right? I was like a tech sergeant, I was an E6 in the military. And after class, he said, what are you aspiring to be? And I was like, I'm just trying to get a degree, I don't know how all of this works in the world, like what degree gets what job or whatever. And he said, you should really think about being an accountant. And I said, oh yeah, people tell me that all the time, but I don't really know what they do. And he said, well, I'm an accountant, even though I'm a professor. He had a CPA, he had some other certifications and things like that. But he was like, yo, I'm an accountant. I used to work for a rich family and stuff like that. I was a personal accountant. And he started explaining the career field to me. And I was like, look, I don't care what it is. If they're going to pay me, yeah. He said, man, they'll pay you to count money. And I said, wait, people will pay you to count money? Sign me up right now, okay? And so he told me about the field. I was absolutely all over it. Let's do it. And he told me what classes and I needed to switch my major and all of that kind of stuff. I switched my major. I get my accounting degree. I learned all of this stuff about accounting. And well, before I get my accounting degree, I got a position as an accounting technician at the Department of Veteran Affairs. They knew I was almost done with my degree. Wasn't done yet, but I was almost done with my degree, and they wanted to lock me in early. So I started working as an accounting technician. So I'm dealing with fund control points. I'm dealing with payroll, like paying special types of workers and stuff. I paid all the veterans. When veterans go to the VA hospital and they get seen or whatever, they get file a travel voucher every time they go to the hospital. They get to file a travel voucher for going to their appointments. So I was responsible for paying all the veterans in the Atlanta VA area. So all the veterans who got seen in the Atlanta area, and filed a travel voucher, I was paying their vouchers. So I had all of that going on. I was learning government fund control points at its base. Like when you donated to the VA, I had to put those things in. I had to manually type those codes into the system to store the money in the checks that you send in as it goes to get deposited into the bank account. So I was doing all of that kind of stuff. So as soon as I finished up my degree, I started just applying to crazy accountant positions because as an accounting technician, it was a position that I didn't have to have an accounting degree. It's kind of like you work under the accountants. And so once I got my accounting degree, I was an accountant, and then I started applying for accountant roles. One of the accountant roles is auditor. So I applied for a bunch of accountant roles. I applied for a bunch of audit roles, and I landed the dream job, like the holy grail, a GS 7, 9, 11, 12, 13. So it was a position that would start you as a GS 7 and take you all the way to 13. I actually landed because I was already a GS 7, it was a GS 9 position, 9, 11, 12, 13. Anyway, so I stayed in that position for a couple years, and I had already started doing government contracts. I had a contract already, but there was an opportunity that we're currently dealing with, but it was an opportunity for me to make money that was going to take me years to make had I stayed working But the thing was, I had to leave my position in order to go to this next level, right? It wasn't something I could do while I was still doing working for the government. So, but here's the thing: my skill set in accounting over prepared me for being a CEO. It's crazy. You know, it wasn't even something that I was thinking. You know, you just run your business, but it over prepared me for being a CEO. My military background over prepared me for being a CEO, knowing how to talk to people, having people depend on you as far as like employees and things like that, knowing how to, I guess, respect people's energy and mindset, and knowing how to talk to people without losing your temper and all of that kind of stuff. The military over prepared me. My skill set in accounting over prepared me. My role as an accounting technician, understanding fund control points, over prepared me with understanding how the government funds work, how they move, how the budgets are set up, and all of that kind of stuff. It over prepared me. All of these things over prepared me. So then when I got to where I'm at, where I am now, it was like, oh, I get to use all of these skills. So I am more fulfilled, even though you can get tired. Well, I'm definitely tired of this one particular contract, ready to move on to something else. But my skill set in dealing with all of those other things that I did in my past have over prepared me to be where I'm at right now. And I know for a fact that it's only up from here. So just being a CEO requires me to do all of these other things. And I'm very thankful for my past, but it was very interesting to go from the streets to being a CEO, and even my skills that I learned in the streets, knowing how to understand people and read people and things like that, has also over prepared me for where I'm at right now. So I just wanted to come and leave you guys with that, so you have a little bit about my background. And anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we out.
I was always focused on the money. I started with nothing. I was born to be an entrepreneur. I'm a real estate investor. Had my own trucking authority. Multiple college degrees. Ex-military. I'm an author. Motivational speaker. Not to mention I'm an accountant. But with all the things that I've done, it was government contracts that truly made me rich.
Yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino Is the Name, and if you wanted to know how I started my trucking business, I have an ebook called Big Shot, Hot Shot Volume 1, Own Your Trucking Authority. It's a great book, 5-star reviews. The link will be in the description below. Go get that. Yeah.
Beat me up, Scotty. Beat me up, Scotty.
Me and her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me a threat. I'm the one that really live with a rap. They ain't never did it, they ain't really trap. You say you wanna be successful? Well, what's stopping you? Can't nothing stop you from being successful except for you. You standing in your own way. I came from the bottom. I ain't know nothing but the grind. You can't tell me nothing about that. I called the bus at Basin Street Projects in Tallahassee, Florida. You hear me? I used to think $1 million would last me my whole life. I'd have made that and spent that. $1 million ain't enough. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name.